2027, with the President Tinubu's vision of transforming Nigeria into $1 trillion by 2030. For enhanced budgetary allocation, the Minister of Women Affairs highlighted a significant increase in the ministry's budget under President Tinubu, signaling a new commitment to institutionalizing women's empowerment as core pillar of nation development. And there is a gender inclusive appointments. The current cabinet comprises of 14.6 female representation, which falls short of 5% promised by the president. However, we believe before the end of this administration, the president will include more women in his cabinet, which is a move commended for promoting gender inclusivity in politics. Her Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, her Renewed Hope agenda has also achieved quite a bit by empowerment of women farmers, giving each beneficiary 500,000 naira each to boost their agricultural businesses. She also has food outreach programs across the country and supporting persons with disability, to mention a few. And for policy reform, the administration is driving reforms to institutionalize women's empowerment and localize gender equality. To localize gender equality policies, aiming to deliver interventions at larger scale. I am up here to say a little about gender policy framework, but today we are gathered here for an important security and economic issue, the matter of pastoralism. Fahada's farmers' conflict is an old and ongoing crisis that needs immediate attention from both the government and relevant agencies. The federal government of Nigeria has introduced several policies to address challenges associated with pastoralism and promoting sustainable livestock management. Since assuming office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has initiated several key measures to reform Nigerian livestock sector and address challenges associated with pastoralism. The President announced the creation of a dedicated ministry focused on livestock-related issues, aiming to resolve long-lasting conflicts between herders and farmers. The President also has initiatives that aim to resolve the long-existing crisis, such as the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reforms, inaugurated to address obstacles to agricultural productivity and peaceful coexistence between farmers and herders. The committee is chaired by President Tinubu, with former INEC Chairman Professor Atari Jega as the co-chairman, and this is just one of the many initiatives by the President. There are also policies being implemented that positively affect pastoralists and hopefully resolve long-existing crises between farmers and herders. Some of them are the National Livestock Transformation Plan, the NLTP, which objective is to modernize the livestock sector, to transition from traditional pastoralism to more sedentary form of livestock production, such as ranching. This initiative aims to reduce conflicts between herders and farmers by promoting settled livestock farming. The plan includes development of ranches, which is necessary infrastructure and services to support livestock production and associated value chains. Then we have the rural settlement policy, which was introduced to create designated settlements for herders across the country, providing them with essential amenities like school, markets, veterinary services. And this policy faced significant backlash, leading to its suspension, because a particular ethnic group may be favored and infringe on the indigenous land rights. Nigeria Livestock Master Plan, inaugurated to guide the development of livestock sector over a 15-year period, focusing on productivity, improvement and resilience, and the plan encompasses strategies for enhancing livestock value chains, addressing climate change impacts, and improving animal health services. And they have the grazing reserve system, which historically the government established grazing reserves to provide designated areas for pastoralists, aiming to reduce movement and association conflicts. But many of these reserves have been encroached upon or lack adequate facilities, which limits their effectiveness. And we have the anti-grazing laws. Some states enacted laws prohibiting open grazing to curb harder farmer conflicts. The federal government has expressed its reservation about these laws, citing concerns over constitutional rights and livelihood of these pastoralists. And then we have the Asaba Declaration by the Southern Governors Resolution 8/2021, Governors from southern Nigeria collectively banned open grazing and called for national dialogue on restructuring, aiming to address security challenges and promote peaceful coexistence. All of which I know will be discussed and analyzed during today's workshop. I would like to give a special shout out to Fudeco and partners for organizing this workshop. Your commitment to research and sustainable gender equality is commendable. Thank you again for having me. My name is Mariam Abdullahi, representative to the President of Women Affairs. God bless you all, and God bless the Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mariam, for your excellent presentation on behalf of our Special Assistant to the President on Women Affairs. As we reflect on the insights shared, it is evident that policies driven by empathy, innovation, and inclusive engagement are essential for meaningful gender transformation. However, our plea, Ms. Mariam, is that all these policies should be deliberate and intentional to cover even the marginalized people, including the pastoralists as well as the pastoralist women. So thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Claudia. We appreciate it most profoundly. Yes, we have just two more speeches, short ones for that matter, before the tea break. And ahead of that, we'll take one award. The speeches are coming from Dr. Adamu Igazi, who's the head of research at Spring Project. Spring Project is actually an acronym that has produced a name. So when he comes on stage, he's going to explain that. Dr. Adamu Igazi, yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Actually, I'm a technical advisor on the Spring program, and that's one of several projects I've worked on. Spring stands for Strengthening Peace and Resilience in Nigeria. It's another FCDO funded program by the UK government and by Spark. So thank you very much for the invitation and the welcome, and congratulations to Fudeco, to Sali Saduanana for coordinating the project, and to all the other Fudeco members and participants who've been implementing this work. I think one of the things that attracts me to Fudeco is that they actually do activities in the field, and they're carrying out projects, water, education, and delivering benefits to pastoral communities. So it goes beyond just workshops and beyond even research. So I think that's very positive. I just want to say a few things based on my own fieldwork of many years in different parts of central and northern Nigeria, and actually in my capacity as an academic, I'm affiliated, among other places, to the Federal University in Yola, and I've been carrying out field research among nomadic pastoral communities in Nigeria and in neighboring countries. I think one issue relating to gender is that when farmer-herder conflicts are discussed, there doesn't tend to be any kind of gender perspective. So we don't hear about pastoral Fulani women and what their experiences of these conflicts are, what the impacts are on women. I think when people think of herders or farmer-herder conflict, it's a very male image that comes up in people's minds. The herders are stereotyped as aggressive young men, usually armed, who cause devastation to farming communities and so on. But the realities are much more complex, and I think there's also variation between conflicts. So I think understanding how these conflicts impact pastoral women who are often victims as well in attacks on camps and so forth. We've seen this in many places, is important. And I think that would actually give a broader perspective of the conflict dynamics also. The other thing is the changes in the practice of pastoralism that we're seeing. I mean, beyond all the discussion of policy, it's very clear that as pressure on land has increased, pressures on livelihoods has increased, Fulani households are settling down, but the cattle are still mobile. And actually this division of the household is very significant, because young men spend longer, many more months each year away from their cattle, away from their families with the cattle. Women are separated from their herds, from the milking cows. Their revenue from dairy production has reduced drastically in most places. So this is affecting the income that women have and girls in the household economy. And it's also affecting the wider economy because dairy production from cows is reducing. So this is something actually I would say is in Nigeria's national interest to address. How to support dairy production, which at the same time would give support to pastoral women's livelihoods. So that's a very, very important question. And one source of support could be actually providing some of the feeds locally, like growing feeds. This is something I know Salim O'Malley is very keen on at the Livestock Ministry, but growing feeds to support milking cows. So more of the milking cows stay in the household, even if a larger part of the herd migrates on transhumance. The other thing is that because there is this process of sedentarization happening, I think it opens up opportunities for education, which should include girls and boys. So it was very good to hear Professor Bashir from the Nomadic Education Commission speaking about that. And in my own experience, there's growing enthusiasm and actually motivation among pastoralists to put their children into school, which probably did not exist even a decade ago to this extent. So that's something to really focus on. And then at the same time, access to healthcare. Obviously, it's very easy to say what needs to be done, but a strategy is needed to actually deliver these things. And even if work is done gradually, then it's good to see progress. And that's where Fudeco maybe can also help, and other organizations. The next area I want to just touch on is on biodiversity issues, environmental issues, which has not been discussed so much in presentations. But this is actually huge because Nigeria is experiencing massive ecological degradation. Nigeria has one of the highest rates of deforestation in the world. We're seeing loss of important plant species, useful plants. So among pastoralists, I've been documenting in Fulfulde some of the plants which existed in the past, which they depended on for the nutrition of animals, which no longer exist because of deforestation, because of the application of chemical herbicides and so on to clear land, which kill off the grasses. So the diversity of important grass species, nutritious grass species in the country is actually reducing very drastically because of these land use practices. So typically now, herders have to spend much longer in the field each day with their cattle to get the same nutritional benefit. Many more hours of herding required. So there's this degradation issue which is important to address, and very high rates of deforestation. In the dry season, the leaves of trees are also used to feed animals, small ruminants, cattle, and so forth. And those trees have been cut down, mainly by farmers, also by charcoal producers, It's a very big problem. So we need a kind of holistic approach to all these pressing environmental issues. And we talk about climate change, but we need to see that, which is certainly happening. We're seeing global temperatures increasing, but environmental degradation more generally increases exposure to climate change, which is felt through increasing temperatures, changes in rainfall. Final point, land reform and land grabbing. One of the big problems in rural northern Nigeria now is the confiscation of land, mainly by politicians, from smallholder farmers and pastoralists. So the local elites and so forth are taking land away from communities. And that's actually one of the causes of conflict, but it also reduces the area available for grazing. So that's something to consider, land rights. And I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Adam, the Spring Project. We now have the final speaker ahead of tea break, Chukwumba Ifoma from Nigeria's Social Insurance, Social Investment Program. Is Ifoma here? If she's not, then we inch to the next item. Is Ifoma here? It's an honor to have you deliver a final remark at the end of the first session.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I stand on the existing to congratulate the Fudeco and the partners for this wonderful research initiative. On behalf of my boss, a national coordinator and the CEO, National Social Investment Program, I don't really have much to say, but he sent me here to give his heartfelt congratulations to you and to apologize for his absence. He would have been very happy to be here, but due to some official engagements, he's not able to be here. So I congratulate you and wish you well in your program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Ifoma. I think that almost wraps up the first segment of the workshop morning. It has taken quite some time to look through the agenda. We're really bent over backwards to be able to live up to the billing of the schedule, which means that it's going to have a telling effect on the timing of the next segment and then the duration of the coffee break. But regardless, during the coffee break, we would put heads together to see how we could streamline the upcoming segment of the event. Ahead of that, I want to recognize a great woman leader, my chairman, my own chairman of the Fudeco chapter, the Federal Capital Territory, Hajia Hawa Abubakar. She is the chairperson of the Abuja chapter of Fudeco. She also doubles as the liaison officer for the Yobe State government in the Federal Capital Territory. She's done quite substantial work, humanitarian work, in service to community and country for many years. We are proud of her work. In fact, the last AGM for Fudeco, the annual general meeting, which holds every year, was hosted by the Abuja chapter, courtesy of our magnanimity. We want to thank Al-Hajia Hawa Abubakar. Yes, yes, Hawa Abubakar, we couldn't thank her enough for the great work she has done. And we want to slightly delay the conferment of this award. The award is actually going to the founding chairman of Fudeco and Maulana Sheikh Asauddin, both of whom are coming from the UK. It's a joint award, kind of. They are all being awarded because they've been found worthy to be so awarded by the leadership of the Yobe State Liaison Office because of their great work. So the physical award has just arrived outside. They're just about packing. So once the custodians of the award get into the hall, we will perform the activity. But ahead of that, I want to especially thank the founder and chairman of Fudeco, whom I have not gotten the time to really appreciate on behalf of Fudeco, Nigeria at large. Mr. Nana comes all the way from the UK for the sake of this workshop. His passion in support of pastoralist communities and indeed for the collective good of humanity cannot be easily quantified. For several decades, he has invested his time, he has donated his energy, countless resources, and indeed his entire life in humanitarian work. Like he told us yesterday at dinner, that nothing he enjoys doing better in his entire life than serving humanity. I think one of the main reasons why many of us opted to walk and join Fudeco was because of his Nana's uncommon passion, because of his unusual commitment, and indeed his transparent dedication to humanitarian causes and interests. Even though he lives and works in the UK, most of his physical and visual works happen in Africa for the collective good of our people and never for the selective goods of their lands. Therefore, permit me to thank him on behalf of everyone here, this highly distinguished national chairman and founder of the Fulbe Development and Cultural Organization for his great work. And then there is every reason you will agree with me that he will be singled out by the Yobe State Liaison Office to be so recognized that it has happened several times by other organizations. Yes. Okay. We have the leadership of the workshop has decided that the award will be delivered after the tea break. So at this point, I would like to seal the morning session of the event and ask us to retire for the tea break. But before that, there will be a group photograph, at the frontage here. Some of us will mount the stage, some of us will cluster here, some of us will be standing, some will be squatting so that we have a panoramic view of the entirety of the attendees who have found it worthy to come and attend this event this morning. On behalf, hello? No, now, before the tea break, so that we'll have everyone, because it's likely that after this dispersal, some of us may not come back. So please, you're welcome. Yes, let us just do it snappy. Yes, let us just have leaders of the partner